나와, 아야. 너 일로 와. 어디서 누나를 때려? 아름이 괜찮아? Welcome to our very real and honest daily routine. Today I'm showing you exactly how we do Montessori at home with my 2-year-old and 5-year-old, from the moment they wake up all the way to the bedtime, focusing on everyday independence without the complicated setups. You'll see my kids doing real-life tasks like getting their own breakfast, helping with chores, and all the honest terrible twos moments, the whining, the screaming, the throwing, everything. If you want to see what a real Montessori home looks like with 2 kids, you're in the right place, so let's jump right in. Around 6 or 6:30, our day usually starts. Elijah wakes up in his floor bed and just hangs out in his room for a bit. This morning he chose to read some books. Every day looks a little different depending on what he feels like doing. He has a few books and simple toys in there, so the moment he wakes up he gets to choose how he wants to start his day. It's a little moment of quiet before Alina joins in. A little later, both kids come straight into our bedroom to wake us up, and that's usually how our day begins. It's a school holiday, so they're excited to be home today. We open the windows to let some sunshine and fresh air in, and surprise! There's pants and very heavy nappy on the floor, which means Elijah's running around half naked, living his absolute best life. So I quickly fix this nappy because I really don't want any surprise pee on the floor, and now it's time for breakfast. Elijah grabs the Weet-Bix we keep at his height, and Alina gets the milk from the low shelf in the fridge. It's such a simple, low maintenance setup, and it works even on our rushed mornings. Then they grab whatever they need, bowls, spoons, cups, depending on what we're having that day. As you can see, all of our everyday kitchenware, not just the kids stuff, but the real ones we all use, are kept low so they can access everything themselves. Weet-Bix is one of those breakfasts they can get without asking me for anything, so they love setting it up together. I'm pretty sure they enjoy the independence more than the Weet-Bix itself. And now let's add some protein to breakfast. Today we're keeping it very simple with boiled eggs and some apple, and I need my coffee, otherwise I'm completely useless. Love letting kids help themselves whenever time allows, and these simple moments like this where they get to do things on their own, it really gives them that little spark, like they're capable and trusted. It's such a good way for them to start their day. After breakfast we clean up together, and honestly I feel like being able to actually clean up before starting the day feels like such a luxury lately. On work days I'm rushing out the door with both kids and everything just stays exactly where it is, and coming home to cold breakfast still on the table, it really ruins my mood. So mornings like this, being able to do it slowly with the kids, it's truly amazing.
이제 놀아, 너네 가서.
Yay! While the kids go off and play, let's do some power cleaning. It's like a race against time because one of them always comes looking for me way sooner than I hope.
What my craze 조금 더 망설이지만 alright I don't want a best friend 너도 나와 같은 맘이야 waiting to get there 나를 보며 웃어줘 때론 그리움이 우릴 서로 주겠지만 사랑한 그것만큼만 keep it up keep it 어떤 말로 표현할 수
Is super simple, just a footstool, their toothbrush and toothpaste within reach, and the hook with a towel at their height, but it works. Luckily, both kids are pretty good with brushing. I still stay right next to Elijah though, because if I don't, he will run around with the toothbrush hanging out of his mouth, dripping toothpaste everywhere. So after he's had his go, I step in and actually finish the job. If I'm not standing there, he just stands there, play with water. Then he goes to his room to get dressed. And honestly, out of all the Montessori stuff, this is the one area we just cannot get right, the clothes. Montessori books always say to keep just a few items out so kids don't get overwhelmed, but we're like, okay, but where does the rest of the clothes go? So instead of trying something that's impossible in our home, we just do what works for us. One drawer for tops, one drawer for bottoms, that's it. And inside the drawers, we use a little compartment so they can actually find what they're looking for. Like in the bottom drawer, I keep undies and socks together too. Super simple, super doable.
두 번째 거 너가 해봐.
이렇게 하는 거야?
맞아.
못하겠는데.
딱 넣고 잡아. 걸어볼까?
다시 해줘.
뭘 다시 해?
이거 다시 해줘.
왜 다시 해? 너가 빼봐 그럼.
못하겠어.
됐다. 됐지? 잘 됐지?
He's great with pens and everything. It's always the buttons he struggles with, but I'm sure he will get there.
그렇지, 반대쪽 팔.
For the guinea pigs.
이거 누나가 그린 거 위에다 이혜리가 그렸잖아. 그러면 안 돼. 이혜리는 여기다 그려. 그림을 그려.
One thing I really try to make sure of during the day is that I actually stop everything and just sit and play with them, because you know how it is, when you're home you see a million things that need to be done, you end up multitasking the whole day, and even though you're physically with the kids, they don't really get the proper focused time with you. So I try to give them at least half an hour, ideally more, where I'm not doing housework, not on my phone, not multitasking, just actually present with them. Today we decided to play with the Tetris set. It's great because it works for both kids, and I really appreciate toys that can serve both ages, and this is definitely one of them.
얘라, 누나가 넣어줄게.
이혜리가 그러면 이거 넣어볼래? 이거 니은? 지. 수영 갔다가 집에 와서 밥 먹고 이혜리는 자자. 물 챙겨. 밀어. 그렇지. 지금 못 하나. 엄마 이거 들었는데 어떻게 하나? 손 잡아. 엄마 못 하나. 엄마 팔 아파. 진정해. 그럼 진짜 불편하게 안아줄게. 이게 엄마가 최선이야. 빨리 와, 손 잡아. 그래, 그럼 잘 있어. 엄마는 너랑 못 있어.
So this reaction is a no. Let's talk about why we shouldn't say fine, stay here then I'm leaving when your child is melting down in public, because even if you say it out of pure frustration, it triggers a deep fear of abandonment in young children. They can't separate a frustrated comment from reality. When they hear something like that, they take it literally and think, mom's leaving, and that teaches them to fear your reaction, not to actually learn how to regulate their feelings. So I should have just stopped right there and said something like, I'm right here, I'll stay with you until your body calms down. I can't carry you right now, but I'm not going anywhere. Hopefully next time I react better.
빨리 와. 이혜라, 집에 가서 엄마가 맛있는 토마토 국수 해주고 그 다음에 그림 그리고 같이 놀자. 알았지? 굿보이. 나와, 아야. 너 일로 와. 어디서 누나를 때려? 너 일로 와. 얘 일단 앉아. 여기 앉아. 나오라고 막 밀고 땡기고 던지고. 너 누나도 때렸지? 그거 진짜 안 돼. 절대 안 돼. 알았어? 다시는 그러지 마, 얘리. 알았어? 누나한테 가서 누나 미안해 해. 아린이 괜찮아?
So I basically asked Elijah to say sorry. I didn't care whether he meant it or not. I just really wanted to wrap this up quickly, feed them, and get him down for a nap. It ended fine, but I know I could have handled it a bit better. Montessori doesn't really encourage forced apologies because toddlers don't understand what sorry actually means yet. They just say the word to avoid getting in trouble. So instead of saying go apologize, a better way would have been something like, Alina's hurt, what can we do to help her feel better? And giving him simple options like, do you want to bring her a tissue? Do you want to give her some water? Do you want to check if she's okay? If he decides to say sorry, that's great, but it's more about helping him understand what to do next, not forcing the word out of him. They've made up and they're back to playing like nothing happened, so I'm quickly making some tomato noodle before something happens again. I just want to say that I'm not sharing this because I think I'm some kind of expert. As you can see, I'm struggling too. I say things I shouldn't say, I react in ways I don't love. I'm navigating all of this and trying to do better every single day, so if you're watching this and going through the same thing, you're definitely not alone. This season is tough and the terrible twos are very real, and the more I rewatch this, the more I realize I wasn't giving Alina enough love while Elijah was annoying her all day. You always want to check on the child who was hurt or patient first, give them the love and the connection they need, not because you're rewarding good behavior, but because they were the one affected.
아린이는 다 먹었고 지금 이혜리는 안 먹고. 밥 안 먹고 뭐야, 일로 와. 그럼 들어가서 자. 이제 일로 와. 자, 입 닦아. 네가 닦아. 야, 쓰레기 주고 가. 주워. 주워, 이해라. 쓰레기 버려. 일로 와, 일어나. 뭐 하는 거야? 왜 그래? 왜 던져? 쓰레기 다 버리고 와, 이렇게.
Elijah fell asleep almost instantly, so while he's napping, Alina's watching 2 episodes of Bluey, and I'm finally sitting down to work on my book. I'm not a Montessori teacher or an expert. Everything I know comes from reading, researching, and honestly learning through my own children. The part of Montessori that has always resonated with me the most is having kids in the kitchen doing real chores. I really believe it has such a powerful impact, working together in the heart of the home, staying so close, making meals, making messes, making memories. And as a working mom, I know what it feels like to come home completely drained with nothing left to give, but even on those days, I've learned how to shift the vibe into something warm and connected, and it's made our hardest days so much easier, and that's what I want to share, the little changes that make life more doable. So I wrote 2 books, one for children and one for parents. They come together as a bundle, and I named the set I Can Help in the Kitchen. For children, I wanted something they can see themselves in, something that actually makes them want to join you in the kitchen. And for parents, it's all about creating a practical, functional Montessori kitchen that actually works in real life, not just pretty setups you see on Instagram. And honestly, it's not just the kitchen itself, it's the mindset behind it, how we show up, how we involve our kids, and how we make the space work in everyday chaos. After years of trying different Montessori setups with my kids, I realized the setup definitely helps, but the mindset behind it matters even more. The launch is still a while away, probably around April, maybe even later. Please let me know where you're watching from in the comments so I can plan the first batch where there's the most demand. That would be really, really helpful. Before Elijah woke up, Alina and I did a bit of artwork. We've been really into modeling paste lately, and today we are trying the glossy one for the first time, and it was really fun. A little later, we went to the park for about half an hour. A quick little walk, some time on the swing, and some fresh air, just enough to recharge before getting dinner ready. Around 4:30, I start getting dinner ready. The kids are usually busy doing their own things, but I know in a little while they will come and ask for a job. And honestly, I love having them in the kitchen, but at the same time, I kind of don't. Part of me just wants to get dinner ready as quick as possible and move straight into the night routine, but the other half of me just loves these moments so much. The connection, the conversations, the little hands helping. It's so wholesome, and I never want any parents to miss out on this. There's something really magical about working together in the kitchen. You're right there side by side, and you get to see how much they genuinely enjoy being close to you and doing real work together. Yes, they're in the way, and yes, everything takes longer, but now that Elijah has really grown to love kitchen work, he's actually becoming helpful. Like, he genuinely makes things easier sometimes. Alina can use a real knife safely because we've been practicing since she was about 2. I'm always right there watching her, of course, but she's really confident now, and the focus it gives her, the fine motor skills, and that little sense of achievement when she sees the vegetables she cut going into the family plate, it's such a beautiful experience for kids.
다 조사놨네.
Elijah's using a knife too, but he still uses the child-safe one. It's not sharp, but he can still cut soft vegetables with that cutting motion. Practicing the motion helps build that fine motor control, hand coordination, and confidence they need for real everyday tasks. And I know it might look like a lot to some people having little kids cutting things with a knife, but in Montessori we don't avoid tools just because they could be unsafe. We introduce them slowly with clear boundaries at the child's pace. When they learn how to handle something properly instead of being kept away from it, they actually become more aware, more careful, and a lot more capable. Elijah insisted on washing the chopping board and the knife he used. My instinct was to just send him off so I could finish quickly, but I chose to give him the space. And again, he surprised me. He actually handled it really well without making a big mess. Moments like this remind me how capable they really are when we give them the chance. Finding the right task for your child is the tricky part at first, but the more you invite them into the kitchen, the easier it gets. You really start to understand what stage they are at and what they are capable of, and that's when everything feels a lot more natural.
살살. 끝. 고마워. 이제 가서 놀아. 아니야, 더 할 거야? 할 거 없는데? 그럼 이걸로 물기 좀 닦아, 여기. 이제 누나랑 목욕 할까? 도망갈 거야.
After a bit of rough play with Dad, Elijah gets really clingy again, and that almost always happens right before nap time or bedtime, so I try not to react to every little behavior unless he's hitting Alina or doing something bigger. For small stuff, I try not to fit into it. A gentle distraction, a tiny pep talk, or just pretending I didn't see it usually does the trick.
가자, 방에 가자. 들어와. 어우, 졸려. 왜?
This is where our nighttime routine starts. All the slow winding down things that help their bodies know that bedtime is coming. Elijah's eczema is flaring again, so I take extra time with his moisturizers. It's getting worse lately. I've tried so many creams and nothing seems to work except the steroid ones. If anyone has recommendations, please let me know in the comments. I'm honestly open to trying anything. Once that's all done, we dim the lights to ease into bedtime. The kids pick their books, and tonight we are cuddling up and reading in Elijah's room. 찾아야 하고, 문을 닫았어요.